I have a little qualm to pick with Samsung.
Oh gosh, is it because of
I
the tablet that's sitting next to you?
no,
Okay,
but
it probably doesn't
I
help the case.
am the unfortunate owner of a Samsung dryer. And the one main function of a dryer is to turn on and dry your clothes, right? Like that's its main goal.
Well, it's to dry your clothes, not necessarily turn your clothes on.
Well, I mean, I expect a lot, but you're correct.
I don't want my clothes erect.
I mean, you don't have to starch them.
That's true. If you starch them heavy, they're gonna be stiff,
Yeah,
Yes.
a lot. I don't starch anything.
like cowboy jeans.
What are you supposed to starch clothing wise anyway? Other than like the collar of a white button front shirt.
Right. But other ways. So, see, now you have me thinking about it. But
What exactly gets my clothes sexually aroused?
no. The sew thing, like we were talking in the. If you're a Patreon, you'll know.
Yeah,
You'll
you
know.
will.
But so I went to turn on my dryer the other day, and I hit the button.
But a sew.
It turned on, but then I went to turn the dial because I'm not washing clothes, I'm not drying clothes. I'm drying towels, and the button, the knob thing wouldn't knob. It just wouldn't.
Towels are temporary clothes for when you're wet.
I mean, I can't.
You clicked it to towel.
Right. Sorry, he keeps throwing me.
That's
I'm
tiny.
sorry.
You got to push
That's
through.
where my brain's
you
going
got to
right
power
now.
through.
But and then it wouldn't do that. And then I gave him said, you know what? Maybe I can just turn it on and suffer through drying it a second time. And then it wouldn't turn on. Like it wouldn't start. So I restarted it, and then it wouldn't do that. So I said, oh no, my dryer's broken. I got to call the man that knows about dryers. So the man that knew about dryers came over, and he looked at my dryer and said, hey, so the control board is not the problem. And I was like, fantastic. He said the display board is the problem, and they no longer make that piece.
So what are you supposed to do about that?
If what Samsung wants you to do is get rid of the dryer and get a new dryer, and I was not about to do that. So
That's a modern like.
And how old is this dryer?
I mean I think it's older than like 5 or 6 years old because we got it.
I mean, that's not old.
We got it from her mom. Well, I guess it's older than that because we've been in our apartment for like 5 years this December.
Yeah.
But like it's like maybe a 10-year-old dryer. But like the dryer part works fine. I actually just took it apart and replaced parts in it and cleaned it. But the electronic part doesn't work. So I asked him, I said, so is there a place where I can get a spare part, like a junkyard for dryers, a reasonable thing? He said, we can't install it if you do. I don't know of anywhere, but we can't do that because we can't warranty it. And I'm like, can I just sign a piece of paper and say, I don't care about the warranty, I just want you to fix my fucking dryer? But the repair guy was one of my people. He's a fixer.
Okay.
He said, but here's the part number. And eBay, as long as you get he's like, make sure to get the exact part number, like everything, if you can find it, and then here's how you fix it. He's like, 4 bolts, 2 plugs, there you go. And I'm like, my kind of people. And guess how much that dryer part was on eBay?
$15.
$27.
And were you able to get that part and
It
get it
should
installed?
be here tomorrow. And I'm good because I have like 3 loads of laundry I need to do. And second side
Weird
tangent,
flex, but okay.
have you been to a laundromat lately?
Yeah, today, actually.
It is crazy how expensive it is. For 4 loads of laundry, it cost us like $30.
You did it wrong.
It was whatever
I did
Heidi did
3 weeks worth of laundry today for about $18.
You see, you know how the machines at your house can't handle it?
These can.
These
Right.
can.
As
That's the
long as
thing
it's
about-
not going.
Well, I
then
mean,
you're good.
What if when
Ram
I
that
need to
shit
wash
in
my my stainless steel boots,
Why do you
What?
wash? I don't wash any footwear. That's dumb. They
Yeah,
fall apart
when-
after.
You don't wash your stainless steel boots like that.
No, I was making a joke
Oh, okay,
about
I
making
was
the
about to-
dryer go crazy.
Oh, and real quick, too, I just wanted to say, Tiny had mentioned something during the tangent that he tried to get you off of the tangent, but it's talking about starching clothes.
Yes.
There is such a thing that's a recent, I think it's called Cowboy Crisp. And
oh yeah, where they're like super starched like blue jeans.
Yes.
Anything like a Honey Crisp?
Cowboy Crisp
I
is
prefer
whenever
Honey
you have
Crisp.
your pants so starched and steamed that they are just flat and you have to peel them apart to get your legs into them, like they crackle.
Gross.
See, the way that I wear blue jeans is I wear them for multiple years until they are worn down into sweatpants, but denim.
I typically wear them by not wearing them.
And that's fair. Not everyone's a blue jeans kind of person, but I
used to be.
I have a pair of jeans that I think I've had for maybe almost 10 years, if not like 8. And I can't wear them here anymore because with the camera angles, they kind of show some stuff because, they're tastefully worn. But they are the softest pair of blue jeans I ever owned. They're like sweatpants.
So you're saying that you've wore holes in the crotches of them and you can't show your nether regions to the folks watching on camera.
No, I have a legally binding document that only one person is allowed to see my nether regions unless it's a medical professional. So,
I mean, I still have my pharmacy tech license.
right, but I feel like
So technically, I'm still a medical professional.
well, I mean, Tiny, if the need ever arises, I will be sure to call you. But I'm also talking about the lovely people that view us on YouTube. They don't need to see that.
That's
I can
true.
blur.
Just
I'm
have
sure. I'm sure Black Flag can blur or figure out how to blur.
I can blur.
Just pull your stuff out. Like,
I can blur with 2 words. Woohoo! Woohoo! You know that song?
Yeah.
That's
You've listened to
I
Rock
thought you was
93.7.
transitioning into the thing from the theme song.
well, we could.
That's
now,
why I was letting it happen.
because we could right now. You could have. You could.
Woohoo!
You could probably make. You could probably make that happen. Right now could actually be where the theme song is. Playing.
Yeah, we'll insert theme song here.
Gather round, you mates of mine, for tales of nerds and lore. 3 best friends on a podcast line with laughs and chats galore. From comics break to movies grand and games we love to play. We'll sail the seas of fandom land in our own nerdy way. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine. With laughter loud and knowledge vast, nerded through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine. From D&D to MCU, nerded through the grapevine. From wizards bold to galaxies far, we dive into each quest. With theories wild and memes that spar, we're surely blessed, no jest. We'll chat of heroes, foes, and plots, and all the trends that shine. With every laugh, we'll tie the knots in our nerdy design. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine. With laughter loud and knowledge vast, nerded through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine. From D&D to MCU, nerded through the grapevine.
Hi everyone. I'm Austin Shazam Rehash Pfeiffer.
I'm Otto, the Fixer, Cogdell.
And I'm Tiny, the guy that sits all the way to the left.
And we are Nerded Through the Grapevine, the podcast where 3 best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. And this week we're going to come at you with some old topics that we have discussed in the past, because we have been a podcast for going on 5 years now. But I think
233 episodes.
no, wait a minute. Yeah.
233 was last week. This is kind of our state of the podcast or state of the union address.
Yes, because the original podcast episode that aired episode 1, not the lost episode, but the original first episode 1,
Not the 2 lost episodes.
there was a funeral for one.
Yes.
But we were just introduced to the idea of Elon Musk at that time. Like, we were just introduced to the idea of, like, the capacity of what was the lore of what, like, the Neuralink could do.
Mm-hmm.
And I called it the Brain Zone because, knowing my luck, I would not get a good model of something. I would only get the Brain Zone.
Gonna have the Microsoft one. Is it going to be a dog poo brown?
Yeah, who knows? But every time I wake up in the morning, ding ding ding, or whatever that. What's the wake up? That's the shutdown noise. What's the? Do you remember that? You know, when's the last time you used Windows, Tiny?
Today.
When was the last time you subjected one of your computers to life?
I mean, my main computer is a Windows machine. However, I have disabled all those sounds.
Oh, because they used to all have the exact same noise. But I can't.
Yeah, mine was just a fan turning on to mock Jesus and that Manila folder, or the Manila like off-white like giant tower. The
That's what Marcus's PS4 sounds like whenever he used to play Elden Ring on it.
my PS5 still sounds like that. I think it's just a PlayStation thing.
No, his sounded like it was going to fucking take off.
Anything more than 3 PSs, those PS start to fight.
Yeah, my PS2, I have a slim one, and that thing is a tank. Like I have seen it take damage, like hit points of damage before, and still like keep going.
So could you use it to take down a home intruder
I mean, probably
and it still function?
maybe, but I would rather I have other implements of self defense.
I don't know, but that one would be kind of fun. Well, I mean, if push comes to shove
I do.
and fist come to PS2,
I do have
Could
the
it do
original Xbox One that the hard drive is cacked in that I could use as a blunt
it's
object.
true. I've got one in the closet too,
I also have
next to the Virtual Boy.
I have a if you remember the original Xbox, the Duke controller, the big giant black one that everyone
Hated. I hated it.
I loved it because
It was
I
like
have
5 pounds.
I have large hands.
Never
it
seen that
fit
one.
well. It was
I had a Mad Catz.
I played
So-
Gauntlet Legends like a madman on the Xbox.
for the uninitiated. When the original Xbox, the Xbox One, but not that one, the actual Xbox One came out.
The OG.
The OG Xbox. It came out with a giant controller that got nicknamed the Duke. It actually had to be redesigned within like 2 years or within a year of production to be made smaller because so many people were complaining that they couldn't hold on
Yeah,
to
my
it.
hands are cramping.
But as a always been large person, whenever I got one of those, I was like, oh, I actually feel like I can hold this.
Yeah, it's
thing.
it's kind of one of those. I didn't realize that was called that, but it's kind of one of those like they finally made a controller for me.
Right, because as a large
Just
man,
look at these things.
I just didn't like how heavy it was because it was heavy. And I played so much Gauntlet Legends because Gauntlet Legends was based off of the Gauntlet arcade game where you got to pick one of 4 classes of characters and pilot yourself through like dungeons. And you're having to like, and then along the way, you're getting power ups to where your team members that are part of your party are being able to like build up their strength as well. So you're getting upgrades and you're able to, like, you're the archer character and you're able to shoot more arrows. But along the way, your dwarf is able to get bigger axes and bigger damage and all this other stuff, and you could play with multiple people because the Xbox had 4-player capacity.
dude,
Oh,
the
yeah.
original Xbox was such an underrated one. I had one.
It
It
was
was
so
called
good.
Blood Wake. It was a boat game, like a boat combat game. And then there's another one. I can't remember what it's called, but it was about airplanes. It was a similar concept of like you'd like fight these different enemies and get different planes and upgrades and all sorts of stuff.
No, the greatest OG Xbox game of all time, Hitman Blood Money.
I never played that one.
I never played the Hitman games.
Dude, you
I
want to
tried
talk
playing. I
about
tried playing Stuntman once.
you want to talk about some of the hardest games of all time. Also, Splinter Cell. Those were fantastic.
I do remember playing a Splinter Cell on the PlayStation.
Yeah, they were kind of similar in some ways. You know, instead of like trying to murk people, you're trying to
You're
form some
murking
kind of
people
a
for the
heist.
government.
Yes, or sometimes doing a heist, depending on what you're doing and which one. But anyway, Hitman Blood Money, you're trying to go out and you're trying to murk people, but you got to do it. There's some time constraints. There's the hardest mission in that entire game is you're in Russia. And there's these 2 guys, they're meeting on opposite sides of this park in limousines. There's bodyguards surrounding their limos, and there's bodyguards and police patrolling. And so your job is to plant a car bomb on the bottom side of each of the limos. within, I think they give you 5 minutes. And their suspicion is cranked way up because of the two people having the meeting. I spent at least an entire week trying to do it properly. And then I got so aggravated because after a certain point, or if you aroused enough suspicion, there'd be snipers. So I was like, I'm just going to get a sniper rifle and see how fast I can shoot. The first time I fail. The second time, I hit the one guy in the head, and it went through his head, through the other guy's head, and killed them both in enough time that the game went, all right, dog, you got this.
Oh, that's cool.
And I felt such a rush of accomplishment. Played the next 3 missions, and then went, I've already peaked. The rest of this game doesn't matter.
It ruined it for you. You had
Yeah.
too much of a gamer moment.
Yes, but it is a fantastic game. I highly recommend the Hitman games.
I do really miss, like, I have I got a new console recently, got my PS5, and it's really making me think of, like, the older games. Because I had a PS2 back in the day, and I can't tell you how many hours I logged into, like, GTA San Andreas or, like, Star Wars Battlefront just on my own, because I didn't have multiplayer back then.
Here's the thing that Steam does. Steam tracks your hour count,
Hmm.
and you can click on the game, and it can tell you.
PlayStation does that now, too. I've already put in, like,
Yeah.
10 hours to Marvel Rivals.
Some of that, it makes me just go, that's so much time in there. 7 Days to Die, I've got like 600 and some odd hours.
I have 45 days worth of playtime, almost 46 in GTA Online. I don't know to talk about it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how many days and stuff, 600 and some odd hours there are,
Yeah. Oh, this.
but it's a lot. Somebody, one of y'all can do the math and tell me.
I think in GTA I did the math, and it was like 1,400 hours I put into GTA Online. I was unemployed for like 6 months. That's pretty much all I did because unemployment system sucks.
Right.
I forgot that Gauntlet Legends was on N64.
Oh,
Gauntlet Dark Legacy is what it was called on Xbox. That was the one that was the better one.
I remember that Xbox swooped up a bunch of like old Nintendo devs because they had Rare do Banjo and Kazooie on Xbox.
What?
Yeah,
They redid it for Xbox.
yeah.
I had no idea.
Same with Conker's Bad Fur
I
Day.
loved Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah,
Banjo Kazooie, looking back on Banjo Kazooie, like I'm surprised that it didn't do something worse to our brains because the way that everything communicated, like you're reading subtitles, but the only thing you're hearing is
True. That's one game I never did finish, unfortunately, and it wasn't because of my choice. My N64 copy was somehow damaged. It came from the store, defective. At the time, those cartridges were like $60-$70.
Yeah, they're expensive. I mean, they're getting to where they're expensive now too,
Oh, yeah.
just because of the collector
Well,
market.
the problem with my copy was you would put it in, you would play about half the game. It would save up until that half, but then it would just erase. So you'd have to start over. So in order to
You'd have to, like,
actually
complete
complete it, I would have to play it till about the halfway point and then purposefully marathon to the end.
Oh,
I don't know
heck
if I can do that. I don't know how long the game actually is.
I don't remember how long any of this stuff is, but I do know for a fact that if I still had this game that I would sell it for a pretty big boot. I want you to look at the 4 main characters here. You can see all of them. They all have their specified powers. The female is the spellcaster. The jester is going to be, of course, like your bomb and your explosions guy. You've got a dwarf in there who's going to be your more barbarian style, and then you've got the knight, who, of course, is going to do knight shit. This is
Like shit at night.
This is a $300 game.
Like
Oh, it's
Nightman.
insane how much some of those are. I have
$300. All I did was just play that with my cousin Cody at my grandmother's house.
yeah, we're hitting a point where like the stuff we have is actually collectible. I looked up. I had Chibi Robo for the GameCube, and with it complete, like, I have it. It was like $250 on eBay, and that's not like listing price. That's sold price. I was like, I got this from Game Haven for $20.
So what kind of night shit? Like 2:00 in the morning, trying to get your dog that escaped the house, with a bag of dog treats. So you're in the neighbor's yard and your chonies going, "You want a treat? come on, puppy, let's get us a treat.
No, night.
And then you gotta like tell them, hey, I'm just trying to get my dog. I just got home. I know it's early in the morning / late at night, and I'm in your yard in my chonies holding a bag of dog treats. I swear the dog's mine. I live right there. You've seen me. Well, I went to take her out and I forgot to hook up the leash, and I just opened the door and she went, I can just run. It's like, I know she'll come back, but I don't want her to get hit. That's why I'm in your yard at 2 a.m. in my chonies holding a bag of dog treats. That type of night shit.
No, with a K, not with an N.
We
Night
need
with
armor plating.
night with a K.
Oh, so beep. It would have been funny if I'd have said the words. I self-censored.
Saving Black Flag some money.
I think you might have saved Black Flag some money.
Yeah.
Saved that 30 cents.
Uh,
But anyway,
no, there's something that I needed to discuss with both of you because
Oh.
neither one of you were here for this conversation, and I need you to be a part of this conversation. If one, say a person, if one is getting a little weary of consciousness and eyes are getting heavy, and you close your eyes and you wake up 2 hours later, did you just take a nap?
yes.
Okay, so
Is that a nap?
no.
Yes.
No.
I
Or
mean,
is it? Or did you just go to sleep?
Okay, so here's my rubric. Here's my Rubrik's Cube. The 0 to 10 minute nap is called a disco nap. You can look that up. That's legitimate. 20 to 30 minutes is a nap. More than an hour is called a small sleep, and anything 4 hours or more is a regular sleep. Anything around the 12-hour mark is a way too long sleep.
So my nap rubric is thrown off because my wife is a raccoon person that hibernates, and a 2 hour is about a nap range for her. Because I've seen this woman. I love my wife, by the way. This isn't like husband bitchings, but I have seen her be like, "I'm going to go take a nap," and then 8 hours later, she's like, "Oh, that was a good nap." I'm like, "Honey, that was sleep." She's like, "No," and then be awake for 2 hours, and then followed up with a 12-hour nap. And I'm like, that. I think like something is wrong.
The only time a 2-hour sleep can be construed as a nap is if you're in your vehicle while it's not moving.
The constraints of the argument on the original podcast episode, whenever we discussed what a nap was intent. Not whether it was a time duration,
No, it's time
but it was
duration.
intent. The time duration that I gave you was just to throw you off, but it was intent. Intent proves whether or not you nap or not. If you plan to lay down and go to sleep and take a nap, it's a nap. If you accidentally fall asleep, you accidentally fell asleep, and it's not a nap.
I only do naps by accidentally falling asleep. I do old man naps in my recliner. Usually I'll get to about 1:30 in the day, and I'll have my 4th episode of Batman Brave and the Bold on, and then just kind of go out for 45 minutes.
No, I'm the king of disco naps.
I hate naps. I'm not built for napping.
Look, see, sometimes at the shop, also, here's a disclaimer. I would never do this, but hypothetically, at the shop, sometimes I take a 5-minute disco nap because I need it.
I no longer work here. I work at this place of employment, but I did do a nap one time. I was working night shift, and it was a tubing factory here in our hometown, and this was a Saturday night at probably about 12 a.m.
Was it a shit nap?
No, I did do those later on at a different facility, but this was like full on. I was at my machine, and it was weekend night shift. No one worked on my side of the building. I was the only person in my department on my side of the building. I could not be there for an hour. No. I full on fell asleep, woke up in a slight panic, and realized my machine's still running and no one said anything. I'm like, okay, that's a good 45 minutes of my day I don't have to think about.
Dude, when I worked at the Factory of Sadness, not the Factory of Mass Depression, they're two different ones.
Different eras in life.
Different factory, different feelings.
Yes,
That's fair.
at the Factory of Sadness. That was the one that I was at for many, many years. At one point, they started up a second shift. And your boy, me, in order to get hired on, went to second shift for several years.
Oh, the worst shift. I hate
Well,
second shift.
It started off with only 5 of us in the building.
Oh, hell yeah. That was probably the best second shift.
It was. And
You guys probably raised hell.
well, and the thing was, the process at that point was you did work for about 15 minutes, then you waited for about 40 minutes, then 15 minutes, and then 45 minutes, and then there'd be an hour of nothing. So, that being said, there was a lot of us just sitting outside doing guy locker room style talk. And then at one point, I looked at my supervisor and I went, "Hey, it's 2:30 in our 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. shift. Text me when we're ready to work." He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "That spot over there looks really comfy. I'm going to go do that." And he was like, "There's nothing else to do."
So, and if you've got some free time, check us out on your social media accounts. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we are on TikTok. If you're on Instagram and Facebook, you can get us at Nerd Grapevine. Real easy on that. If you're on TikTok, we've got it under my account on there, just because I'm the one who's mostly on there doom scrolling, and I might as well have the videos posted of our friends gathering together with our snippets of fun that we can have together. We got a few fun ones on there. Hercules Plate's my favorite one so far, just because you get on there. You'll find out. Austin.shazam.phi on TikTok.
And check us out on Patreon. You can support the cause and get some extra content. $5 will get you uncut audio, record button to record button, and $10 will get you uncut video and extra videos like The Smoothening, Nerds Day Out, and Nerds Do Discs. Be sure to check out the link in the description, give us some dollars, and get some extra juice.
Find us on Discord as well. There's going to be a QR code right here. Check that out. Scan it with your phone. It'll take you right to us. It'll take you to what we like to refer to as the Backyard Bonanza. That's the party where we all hang out, and it's a real good time. There's memes and all kinds of stuff. We're on there live, uncut, uncensored, and irrevocably circumcised.
We're also on YouTube. If you want to check us out on there, get on YouTube, type in Nerdy Through the Grapevine, and watch our videos. Back at the old facility where I was the aquatics director, I had some crazy times. One time, at this facility that I was the aquatics director, I went on a trip with a bunch of the people that were working there, including the CEO and the main finance officer and the leader of our cheer squad and la-da-da that we had.
They have a cheer squad?
Yes, they did.
Like little kid cheer squad or like adult cheer squad?
It was the adult that ran the cheer squad.
No, like, was it for kids or
yes,
for
it was
adults?
a competition cheer team.
Okay.
I
I didn't know that it was a thing.
It was. It's no.
I knew they did soccer.
It's no longer there anymore, but it was at that point.
Gotcha.
So we all went on this group outing that we decided to go to the lake, and I drink lots of beer while I'm on that lake that day.
As you do.
I drank 11 out of 12 Old Milwaukee's Best Ices.
So you almost cracked the case.
Oh, God.
The final beer.
Were they the best?
I couldn't tell you past 8.
Okay.
It didn't matter.
I woke up with bite marks on my chest. Anyway.
From a person or
Yes.
an animal?
Yes, from a person. It was the cheer captain lady. She did it.
How old was she?
I don't know.
How old was you?
I don't remember.
No, are we like?
Oh, we were
Legally
grown.
consenting
We were all
adults?
grown. Like she
Okay.
was grown past 10 years of me.
Okay, that was my question. Like, was this a cougar situation?
Not necessarily cougary, but like more or less like she's way more mature than I was.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so the final beer, the 12th one, actually I cracked it and I set it on the boat, and I didn't realize it, but the dickhead that I worked with, and I don't care if I say his name because he knows what he did, Dennis. He filled my whole can up with lake water.
Ew. Oh, that's how you get diseases.
And ask me if I noticed the difference.
Oh, it's
Bet
like-
you didn't.
I didn't.
Like,
you were on-
he poured it
you were
out
on
and
11
then filled it?
beers.
Yes.
Mm.
And I got so sick the next day
Oh, that's probably a terrible combination.
because, and here's what happened though.
Did you chug
I
the
don't
whole
remember.
thing?
I don't remember getting home from the lake. I woke up in the facility that I worked at, sleeping on the cheerleading mats. Just me, in the dark, at 4 a.m.
Was you at least clothed?
I was fully clothed
Okay.
in the same clothes I had on at the lake.
Covered in bite marks.
No huge bite mark on my chest, just one.
You had to do the piecing back
Was it-
together your night.
I
Was
had
it high on the chest or was it like nippy region? So almost shoulder.
yes.
Okay.
At least it was coverable.
Yeah.
It hurt.
Was
It
it
got
like-
infected.
Was it like
This wasn't
oh,
like,
one of them
wait.
real like ha.
Like it was a
Cujo
straight up.
ones.
And from the stories that were told, it was like, no, I can't feel it. No, bite it. I thought you were
Okay.
biting.
Oh, I thought. This
Oh,
was a
I
sex.
thought this was a different.
No,
kind.
this
I
was
thought
just
this was like
this was
Yeah.
a this was a
Boy,
drunken
this thing.
stupid.
Okay. No,
Now,
I thought
this is a far less interesting story.
Yeah.
Well, my apologies, but
No,
if you,
I thought
but
you
knowing
had a
me as a
crazy-
younger man me did not engage in many of those activities.
I know, but
because
you said,
generally, any time that I've gotten bite wounds, other things were happening.
Yeah.
That wasn't just.
Well,
I'll
I
bet,
can,
see if I can feel it.
It wasn't for me, but I did wake up in my facility at 4 a.m. I also had a situation to where I had went out partying with the same crew in a lesser situation, but I did get way too intoxicated and have to work the next day because the person that was working called out. And I was like,
Ew.
and I was sitting and talking to the boss, and I was like, don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. You know what I've been through.
Oh,
He's
God.
like, nah, man, that sucks to suck.
oh, what an asshole.
You know what I've done. You was there.
You know
Oh
what I
my
did.
God.
You were
I-
there. You bought me the Pit Bull Long cracks. I drank them. It was not a good idea.
Going to work hungover is the worst. I've had to do weed hungover before, and that is an experience.
I went into the back office and I unlocked the front door. I put a scanner next to the front desk so people could scan their scan cards in. I put a note next to the scanner that said clerk unavailable. And I went and I fell asleep and I locked myself in the office and went to sleep.
There was one time when I was a younger stoner. My wife and I got this cookie that was, I think, 500 milligrams altogether. This was back in the early days. And I, being the hard ass that I was like, or not the hard ass, but the overconfident person that I was like, I can eat like a third of this and be fine. It doesn't matter that I have to work at 7 a.m. the next day. And
How it works, but
I got so high that I had to like have my eyes shut or else the world was spinning at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Fell asleep, dragged my ass into work the next morning, and I'm sitting there counting the money for my drawer. And all of a sudden I realize, oh fuck, I'm still high and I have to talk to the public. And waking up high isn't fun.
no, it's not. It's not like
All the fun of it's gone.
and it only happens with edibles for me. Edibles are the only thing that can happen that makes me not have a good time the next morning because you're like I will take them sometimes when I'm having restless sleep nights. Because if you guys ever want to go into my bedroom and look at the wall behind my bed,
I don't want to see the boogers.
there's no boogers. There's literally my wife's side of the wall that's painted, my side of the wall that's been clawed to death. I spin like a rotisserie chicken in the middle of the night with my hands assisting me along the wall. I can't stop it. Sometimes I'm not restful, and I take some gummies before I go
Try
to
to
bed.
handcuffs.
I don't do well with restraints. So then
That's a bummer.
it is, especially how I got there. So I toss and turn like a rotisserie chicken, and my paint's peeled over on the wall. So I take a couple gummies one night because I have a bunch of sample gummies from people bringing us like Garbo, and
yeah, I think I've tried some of these, and
Yeah,
they are ooh,
yeah,
they're rough.
but there's some of them are strong, but they'll coat your teeth with everything that you thought you were just eating.
Gross.
So I'll eat them, and then I'll have to go and I'll take a paper towel and I'll scrub my teeth with them to get the remaining resin off of my teeth.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's awful. But
Have you tried just swallowing them?
no, you're supposed
You
to. You
can't.
can't. You got it. They'll sit in your stomach like a rock. They won't digest.
That's not good.
So I woke up one morning and it took me 3 hours to come out of it while I was awake because I was sitting on the couch and my wife comes in. Like, I wake up first, I go sit on the couch because she's waking up and she's on her way to the couch because I take care of the morning bits, taking out the dog and da-da-da-da. But the whole time I'm doing all of this, I'm doing this with 40 pounds of sand in my pants.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I'm just
And a little wobbly.
I'm just dragging, and everything that I'm doing feels just like this. And not she. My wife comes in the living room, and she sees me on the couch, and I'm watching anime, and she's like, "God, it doesn't smell like you smoked in here, but you look stoned." I'm like, "Honey, I did a bad thing.
I fucked up.
I did a bad thing. There was 1,000 hippie calories in those gummies I
Ooh.
took last night
Oh, my
accidentally.
God.
I don't feel good."
Good on that. See,
Hey, by the way, I slept 10 hours that night.
Yeah, he did.
I bet you did. The one time that, oh God, that just went right down my mouth. The one time that I went to work hungover was probably one of the most incredibly awful and painful times of my life. At the time, I was doing spray foam insulation. So even in
Hell of a
90s,
drug. I've never heard that strain.
no, that was what I was doing professionally.
They're naming weed everything these days.
No.
Man, I think they're just making this shit
I'll
up.
take
No,
an
no.
eighth of spray foam insulation.
No, here's the thing.
It's a
Do you have any sheetrock nails?
When I was in my 20s, I had the liver of the god Odin himself. I could drink a ridiculous amount of things. And typically, I wouldn't get hungover. I got dared the night previously to drink 2 bottles of JD. I drank 2 bottles of Jack Daniels. It was awful. I was the most aggressively hungover I'd ever been at 5 a.m. on a Monday morning in the summertime wearing full jeans and long sleeve shirt because you didn't want the overspray to hit you. The boss looked at me and he goes, "You don't look great." I'm like, "Nah, man, I don't feel so good." And then he did a couple of like dickhead things and he determined I was hungover. I didn't admit to it, but you can tell. We get to the job site and he hands me 4 fence posts. And he goes, "I need these out there about, 4 feet apart." I'm like, "That's weird." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Just whatever for this, customer. What's what they want." Okay. So I went out there with the post holding thing and I knock in the fence posts. Come back. I'm like, all right, Brian, we got him in. He hands me a shovel and he goes, "Go dig them back up."
Oh, what
Why?
a dick.
Well, I went out there, I dug them back up. At this point, I'm no longer hungover because I sweated it out in like the 3 hours this took. Because it takes so long to dig them up.
You were probably so dehydrated.
I was. And I come back and I was like, "I got that done." He said, "Don't ever show up hungover again because you will no longer have a job." He's like, "I'll pay you for all day, but I bet you sweated it out."
Oh.
Yeah, I sure did.
That's just rude. And also, like, who's he think he is? A character on Yellowstone? That
Well-
sounds like some Yellowstone shit.
Well, there were 2 of
You
us.
want to talk about Yellowstone so bad, don't you?
no, I'm keeping that for another day.
Well, there were 2 of us at this particular corporation, the owner and the manager. I was the manager, he was the owner. We were the only ones there. That's also the job where we kept a Lowe's bucket to shit in the bucket in the back of the truck.
Oh, well, it's not worth it anyway.
Yeah.
So rehashing of the napping topic, would you agree that intent decides whether you nap or duration
No.
decides your nap?
Location versus time.
I think because for me, I don't nap. I don't intend to lay down and nap. Naps for me are always like accidental. If I'm laying down, I'm going to sleep. So I think I would side with intent.
It wasn't even my argument to begin with. If you remember, if you can look back on the podcast, the actual argument that was proposed was by Rooster, because Rooster is a man who will argue just for the sake of arguing because he feels like the conversation needs a little bit of arguing.
Well, how asleep do you have to be for it to be considered a nap?
You have to be in Rooster's definition, you have to intently lie down and go to sleep.
Okay, because at the Factory of Sadness, once I moved to day shift, I would at lunch both eat my lunch and take a nap simultaneously.
Hey, that's your lunchtime. You do whatever you want to.
Exactly. I got hauled in the office for that, but I got real good at the half nap. I put my, in that little twilight stage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the just
You
like
look
your-
like you're on drugs.
I've never done that in a place of my employment. I know, scratch that. I think I did that at the old vape store I worked at one time, just because I had to come in and open the store, even though I had a very late show playing music, and I wasn't supposed to open the store yet. Somebody who always called out, and I had to go open the store.
Did that particular person's partner have a headache?
Something, or one of their bunnies had a bad hair day. You never know.
I used to do that when I was flipping my schedule back and forth. I used to work a night shift at G&L on the weekends, and then through the week I would work at or I would go to school at TCAT Livingston for trade school. And turns out when you train your body to both sleep at night and during the day in the same week, anytime you sit still long enough, your body just turns into like rest mode. And I just like boot down, I'd go into sleep mode for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then someone would turn me back on, and I'd wake back up. It wasn't a great state to be in.
Well, see, at one point, many episodes ago, because we've done this a couple of times, we talked about AI and the prevalence
boy.
of AI and where it's going. And I come across something interesting in regards to the artificial intelligence.
Cool. That's what I took a note about.
I know.
So
I was getting us back on topic.
I'll hop in after yours,
Yes.
because I have a thing.
So, Meta, which we all know is the Zuckerberg company that owns Facebook and Instagram and
Excuse you.
increasingly more social media things.
They recently updated to blue from purple on all their apps.
They are. It's really dumb. We're not sure if they're, I don't know all the details, but they trained their new AI by pirating about 82 terabytes of books, 81.7 to be exact. They came out and said that they did that. And they're like, no, it's legal, right? It's legal. We can do that as long as we're just training AI. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to say the name of the site that they use for various reasons, but the average EPUB file, which is what most of your electronic books come in, are 1 to 5 kilobytes.
Oh, that's like a lot of books.
So you can do math yet again. Let's just say at 1 kilobyte to 81.7 terabytes.
Hold on a second. How many kilobytes?
One. We'll go with 3 because that's a good midpoint between 1 and 5.
Kilobytes to 81 point what
7 terabytes.
terabytes?
It's definitely a go away for the rest of your life amount.
Because like that is you would have to use AI
Yeah,
to do that many
they-
because you would never need that many books. You would
Yeah.
never be able to read that many books.
They didn't even get a hey, you should stop doing this letter.
That's why my thing with all the AI stuff is you're not even like
Like
you're not creating anything. You're just pirating and taking
Exactly.
things and turning it into this.
well, like it's on their official business records that they use a particular torrent site, a known prolific torrent site for books to pirate all of these materials to feed it to their AI.
Oh, I hate that. Did you see how there's a new Chinese AI that
What?
Oh my
I bet it's
god!
a hilariously
Oh
large
my
number.
god! It's a number so big that they didn't put it in zeros.
oh, did they have to do the E?
Yes. So it's 8.17e plus 10.
I didn't even know there was that many books.
I don't even know what that is.
That's
I mean, we're talking books of all different languages.
that's
too.
8.17, and then you move the decimal point over 10. So let me tell you how many.
That's a lot of Warhammer books. How many are in the Horus Heresy?
Well, this particular torrent site is, I'm not going to say famous for, but is theoretically has every published book in their archives.
Ooh, that's cool, but also
They-
like
Well, their main reason for doing it on their site, allegedly in Minecraft, not that I've ever been there, says that they did it for preservation purposes.
I mean, I get that.
81,700,000,000.
Yeah, that's a
That's
lot.
a lot.
That's a lot.
That's the fake number. That number doesn't exist.
It read every book that's ever existed.
Yeah.
It read every book that's ever existed. Let's go ahead and just put this out there. They trained their artificial intelligence by making it read every book that's ever existed.
And
That's
that's
insane.
including the bad ones and probably the porno ones.
That's included in Dungeon Crawler Carl.
which is amazing, by the way.
Ah.
And they've been on record saying it's not illegal. We were just training our AI with it. Like,
It's not illegal.
No.
We were just stealing it.
yeah, we were just stealing. It's fine.
I wasn't taking this food.
Yeah.
I was just using it to cook a
Exactly.
pizza.
Exactly. They're facing a possible fine.
That's just all of the money. Just
Yeah.
you're not allowed to have money anymore.
It read every book ever.
Yeah, they didn't even use a program to do it. They literally hired a department to come in, sit at their work computer, turn on a VPN, go to this site, and download them manually and
Oh my
feed it to it.
God, how?
I don't know.
So is our least favorite word. In the past 4 years, AI has made significant strides in areas like generative AI, creating realistic images and texts, improving natural language processing, which is called NLP, advanced robotics, and more accurate facial recognition, with major breakthroughs including the development of large language models like GPT-3 and the ability to generate highly realistic images and videos using generative adversarial networks, GANs. Adversarial made me stumble. Let me say that one more
Did
time.
it cause you some discord?
It did. There's plugs for that now.
There's a link in
There
the
is.
description.
Adversarial networks that were previously considered impossible. These advancements have allowed AI to be used in a wider range of applications across from various industries, such as the generative AI is the ability to generate human-like text, images, and videos using models like ChatGPT and DALL-E. It has become significantly more sophisticated, blurring the lines between real and AI-generated content. Improved NLP, which is going to be just what I said, the natural language processing. The AI systems can now understand complex languages and nuances, translate between languages with greater accuracy, and engage in more natural conversations with humans. A lot of times you can see videos of this going on your TikToks or your Instagram Reels where people have the ChatGPT plus the paid-for app that allows you to have the AI and talk to you on your pads like this. And a lot of times it's some real end-of-the-world type shit that they get to talking to, because if you talk to, say, something that is an AI that has, well, say if one AI has read every book that's ever been written, eventually every AI is going to have that knowledge.
Well, I mean, like most AIs are ChatGPT right now, honestly.
Yeah, well, a lot of them form the elite, at the very least, the basis of it,
Yeah, and
the ground floor.
People are using AI for medical applications. It's being used to analyze medical images and disease detection.
It's used for video games.
I like when AI is used for stuff like that, because I saw one where they caught breast cancer about 5 years early in a lady and was able to get her treated and basically save, like, you know, without her having to go through that.
That's
like,
amazing.
That's what I like AI to use for. Using it to help us do the jobs that just like humans aren't sharp enough to do. But don't replace the people that write our TV shows
Don't replace people's jobs with it. Use
Yeah,
it to enhance
make the
their
jobs
job.
easier.
Make the job easier. Make the job more efficient.
because I swear to God, if I have to talk to one more AI when you can just
Yeah,
employ a
God.
person in a call center, I'm going to, well, I can't say that because that's a terroristic threat,
Well,
but
just say shit in the field. That's what I always do.
I will just do violent things to
I'll go take a
violent-
shit in the field.
I will take a shit in your shower,
No.
not your shower.
Oh. AlphaFold is an AI system that can predict protein structures with high accuracy, significantly advancing research in biology and medicine.
Yeah, like that's cool.
DeepMind's Gato is a single model AI capable of performing multiple tasks, including playing games, generating text, and manipulating objects.
RSI, which is the company that owns Star Citizen. Now, I've talked about this game before. It's not a game for everybody, but they've actually integrated AI into the creation of this game in a way that's not happened before. The game has an internal economy that they were initially wanting it to be fully just player driven, like supply and demand, everything. The prices of everything was going to be based off of purchases in the game with in-game currency. Well, they've determined that they are not capable of analyzing that in a way that makes sense because they keep unbalancing the economy.
You can't trust players to run your economy. Every game has tried this and it never works out.
Well, they've integrated AI into it, so it analyzes the trends like a stock market, takes that into account, and actually makes the prices fluctuate and keeps the economy balanced. They've done that in their newest rendition, which I've
See, that's
started playing
cool.
again.
That's a cool
It's
use
very
of AI.
cool and a neat integration of AI,
Yeah, because that
and
that
it
makes the
doesn't
game
replace
better.
people's jobs.
The thing that scares me a little bit is the Willow chip, because Google's Willow chip is a
That's
quantum
ooh,
What flavor is that?
a quantum computing processor that can perform computations much faster than classical
I feel it's
computers.
kind of like a barbecue-y taste. Maybe a all dressed.
A willow?
a
Yeah,
little more
it'd be
tang.
something like smoky.
The Willow is a 105 qubit superconducting processor.
That's a lot of words there, Magic Man.
It has a basic unit of information that is quantum computing. That's what a qubit is. So the qubits can
I thought
exist.
it was that
in-
little thing with the two legs and like the horn nose.
No, that's
Qbert.
Qbert.
Same difference.
Qubits can exist in multiple states at once, allowing quantum computers to test many computations simultaneously.
You know what that kind of sounds like?
It's living.
Like it sounds like how you describe like particles of like it's either a particle or a wave and you can't judge its speed and relativity at the same time.
What it can do is Willow can perform
I
a
had a
benchmark.
discussion of relativity with myself the other night.
I
You
remember
gentlemen are welcome for that.
and I meant to text the group and I just texted you personally.
Yeah, I ended up going to sleep shortly after that brain
I
explosion.
would hope so. It was great because me and the wife were driving home in our car, and it read it off, and we both just looked because the music paused, and I was like, "What the fuck is he on?" I'm like, "He is outer spaced right now."
I had acquired a new product,
He got a
and
new
I was
toy.
thoroughly testing it.
The Willow chip can perform a benchmark computation in under 5 minutes that would take today's fastest computer 10 septillion years.
Do you remember that time that the U.S. Navy or the U.S. Air Force built a supercomputer out of PS3s?
I don't, but I do.
They took like 200 PS3s, like the original, like big chunky ones with the Spider-Man text, and linked them together to make a supercomputer because it was cheaper to buy them than to make one.
I feel like that's redneck backyard science, and I hope at least one of those was like a Spider-Man special edition type thing.
I know, like that is one of the things where I'm like, that's humanity right there. That's like I
This
could
is our
do.
PlayStation rack.
It's like I could do this in a very elegant way that looks really good, but also if I duct tape 250 PS3s together, I can do a supercomputer that runs the Air Force.
I would love to do something like that. Okay, so
I want to get 15 trucks to make one truck.
okay, my PIC, that means partner in crime. By that I mean we got arrested together. At one point, found a website called GovDeals. Now, GovDeals is cool.
Oh yeah.
You can get you get things that the government is selling because
an
they no
auction
longer want
website.
it. Yes, it's kind of like eBay, but for government-owned property. And some of it is government seizures. Like you can get 20 pounds of pocket knives for $50.
You can also find like a fire truck
Exactly.
or
like,
drug dealer cars that were
Yes.
seized.
Exactly. And old police cars, all these things. So anyway, he bought 3 pallets of computers,
How much?
like $55.
That is amazing.
He was the minimum / only bid.
What would you do with it? But also, I want to
Here's-
find out.
Here's the thing. Your boy at the time was jobless. So he hired me for a week to do this job. Job number 1 was to drive to Nashville because they were at Nashville State in Nashville to pick them up. Also, I had a truck. I was that guy. So I got in Daisy. That was my 5-speed Ford F-150 from the early 90s with a door that kind of half worked sometimes.
As every good old truck
As
does.
worked as in closed. Sometimes you had to tie it. I drove that to Nashville, loaded it with 3 pallets of computers, also no AC. Drove them back, and then he paid me to tear them apart to bare components because his intention was to build a server and basically a giant server rack out of these computer parts. So 2 pallets were 2 pallets were towers, 1 pallet was about 10 monitors.
Oh, so these are like big desktop.
Oh
like-
yeah, we're talking like Windows 97.
Oh, are they like Manila? The Manila.
They were that manila color. They were probably like XP in all honesty.
Okay. Okay.
So he built a early 90s like movie villain wall with the monitors. That actually looked kind of cool. I'll give him that.
Did he have to replace the foundation in his house with how much weight was there?
Well, see, here's the thing. At the time, this guy, his entire apartment, if you cut it in half and sat the 2 halves beside each other, could fit in this room. Like you had to sit in the kitchen to take a poop. It was an old
God.
wine cellar that was converted into a 1-bedroom apartment. It fit a futon that you could fold all the way out as long as you made sure to take out the trash.
That's awful.
Yeah,
Hell
we had
yeah.
4 people in there haloing, and we had to climb over each other to go.
That'd
pee.
smell real bad.
I don't know because a lot of those times are real foggy for various reasons. But anyway, so there was a concrete ledge that was because this was initially a wine cellar.
Okay.
That's where they were. So no, the foundation was fine.
Okay, because that's a lot of weight for CRTs.
Yeah.
But he made a computer rack out of it. That's pretty.
He was gonna make a server. He had parts. He bolted parts together to pieces of wood.
No, that's not how it works.
And then he ADD'd onto something else.
That happens.
And then he went
built it out of
to
wood.
salvage the gold out of the computer parts.
Oh God!
And not a
So
lot
he
in there.
made like $30 at the end of the day.
Because like you have to have a lot. Because it has like atoms of gold.
Well, he was using electrolysis
Yeah, but still, like
or electroplating to extract it.
yeah, that's still like you'd have to have so much.
Oh, it took him months.
Because there's like itty bitty amounts of gold on all those pins.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
there's not a lot.
He tried to get me to help him with that. I said I would rather die.
That's oh God, yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Willow is a step towards building useful, large-scale quantum computers. What it means, Willow can have a big impact on startups that use quantum computing in their operations. Willow could also threaten current encryption standards because if it can compute that quickly, it's going to get through that firewall.
Because yeah, encryption is just I'm gonna make it have a bunch of random stuff that it's gonna take forever to find out. But if your computer can
If
do it in milliseconds,
if it operates that much quicker than what a normal computer can operate and what a normal program can operate to do encryptions like that, it would be almost instantaneous.
I
Breaking
mean that's
through
like
firewalls.
robots level of.
Businesses should start making their infrastructures quantum resilient.
How much
What
you
does
want to
that
bet?
mean?
Okay. I'm calling into the universe in 5 years when this quantum stuff starts hitting the market. 5-10 years, you're gonna see some shithead startup like obvious scam thing say, "Hey, buy this USB stick. It makes your computer quantum protected for encryption."
No joke.
How many like startup security things are going to be like, hey, protect from quantum you got to get quantum protected.
You're going to see those USB drives with the as seen on TV stickers sold at Walmart before you get to the checkout.
They're going to get the boomers so scared about quantum computers.
You know what the fun part is about all of my notes today?
What?
They were generated by Google AI.
Oh man, I actually did a little bit of work for my notes.
I asked it a few questions and Google responded.
Dang, I had to use my brain like a good little.
Yeah, but it sometimes it helps.
Because that's what AI can do now.
I know it's very
From the
useful.
course of when we first discussed AI, it's also been a subject of an entire South Park episode to where you have people using the ChatGPT AI, not even in its most modern form. It was in the form it was in then. I think it might have been GPT 1 or 2 at that point. But they were using it like people do to generate texts to each other as if they're actually talking to each other and they're very interested in the conversation, but they don't really speak this way because they are not really interested. It's just the Chat GPT
Oh yeah,
And-
they're using it to like, hey, this person said this. How do I reply to say
yes,
this?
that's
Sound like
exactly it.
I hate that.
That is exactly
Just-
what they did. And Professor Garrison, or Mr. Garrison, was using Chat GPT in order to text Mr. Slave.
Oh god.
Because Mr. Slave felt that Mr. Garrison was just uninterested, and Mr. Garrison was using Chat GPT.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, they were using
Oh, it's
that.
just
That was in the
characters on the
South
show.
Park.
On what show?
I thought you were
South
saying
Park.
people did that.
I'm not allowed to watch that.
I understand, but I know Otto watched a little bit. of
Right,
it.
I thought you were saying like people were doing that because I think I've seen people doing that.
They,
but
they
it-
do. But all South Park is just a satire.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
what's
It just
happening.
took me a second to put the two things together. Sorry, I weeded a little bit today.
Yeah. So I went on a weird. You know, I don't know if y'all are like this, but I'm like this. I assume y'all are at least a mild form of this. You start doing a task, and then something strange pops up in the middle of you doing that task.
Who are you going to call?
So you dig deeper into that strange part of the task.
That's yes, I have that. It's called ADHD. I have paperwork.
I don't know if I have ADHD. I feel like I might.
I feel like you have a flavor of it. You have a fregois of it.
Yeah, I feel like I probably do. So the assignment was to look at previous shows and do updates on things. Mine's not really an update, but kind of like a correction, and also like, hey, y'all need to remember this shit. Do you remember the baseballman Ted Williams?
No,
Okay, he had a son named John. If that helps.
John Williams.
Yes.
Isn't that a music?
Ted Williams, I don't know. He was a baseballman who was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1966. He
Okay.
finished his career with a .344 batting average. I guess that's good. 521 home runs, 2,021 walks. He also managed the Washington Senators and Texas Rangers, or / Texas Rangers,
That's a lot of baseball.
from 69 to 72. Well, he died on July 5th, 2002.
Okay.
And here's the thing
A few
to
days after my birthday.
here's also what to remember about Ted Williams. His body was cryopreserved, and so was his son John's. Now there are two different things. There's cryogenically freezing somebody, which is massively illegal because you take an alive thing and you freeze them. Now, cryopreservation is a process that involves freezing the body for preservation and later revival.
So instead of like it's like a TV dinner for a thing. Like you get it cooked and then you do it. Whereas like the other one is like while it's cooking you freeze it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, exactly. You get slow frozen.
You
in
freeze
this
the
particular-
leftovers.
Yes, in this particular manner.
I understand.
And then they put you in a tube, and that's where your body resides until nanotechnology is able to go inside of you and make you not dead anymore. I think I said the name of the company.
That seems a little like
Futurama.
Richie.
Yes.
That seems a little like rich people don't want to die.
Futurama was cryogenically freezing. This is cryopreservation because he was dead.
This is like Walt Disney, like where they
Yes.
chopped his head off and put it in the deep freeze.
Actually, no, that was Ted Williams that this happened to.
Well, I know there's a conspiracy theory that they have Walt Disney's head doing.
I mean, there's also a conspiracy theory that he partnered with his company, which is called Alcor Life Extension Foundation, and they put one of their preservation chambers, which is a Duwar chamber, underneath the now Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
That would be-
That's just a theory. We don't know
weird.
about that.
well. There are miles of tunnels that stretch underneath Disney.
Exactly, it's possible.
That's how they take out trash and everything
Well,
else. Every damn
Ted
thing.
Williams is now frozen in two separate pieces.
oh,
His body was improperly stored, so there was a thawing action that happened to the head to the point that they were scared that the head would no longer be viable. So, in an effort to fix it, they cut his head off and they froze it separately. Now, the thing is, on the way to the freezing, they didn't have a small enough chamber or one prepared to accept his head. So they put him in a freezer that also contained a can of tuna, which got frozen to his neck stump.
at some point you just got to let it go, man. You just got to be like, you know what, we're done. When you like, are they gonna? Like, are they going to reattach the head? How are they going to
No,
get the tuna?
he's currently. They built a smaller box for his head that is stored next to his body. So now he is frozen in two pieces
I know, but like,
next to his son.
what's their end goal? What's their step 2?
Well,
Are
well,
they
the second step is for technology to catch up and be able to reanimate the dead body
and reattach
and make
the head?
him alive again.
Hopefully,
But
reattach the head.
his now has to become like what is in Jason X and reattach his head.
Well, maybe the Willow chip can assist with making the nanobots have enough information fed to them to be able to reconstruct Ted Williams when the time comes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like some altered carbon stuff.
I've
Yeah,
got a correction to make
the-
for us real
hold on,
quick after
hold
you
on.
get done.
The funny part is, one of the first steps, the AI told us the steps for how they, cryonically preserve you. Step 1, you got to be declared legally dead. Duh.
As you do.
Well, the body's cooled with ice and packed for transport to the cryonics facility.
So they put you in a cooler,
Yeah, they put you on a cooler with some dry ice.
like the deviled eggs.
Yes. And then your body is drained of all of its blood and is replaced with antifreeze and cryoprotective agents. And
Just
then
go up to
you're-
AutoZone. I need to get the 50/50 or the pure.
Yeah, I'm sure they get the pure and then they mix it with the cryoprotective agents. And then your body is placed in a chamber that is filled with liquid nitrogen. The antifreeze keeps the ice crystals from, crystallizing inside of your body. So it somehow makes your body more resistant to the cold temperature. And it stops you from being stiff. So if moved, you're not a giant
Ice cube.
autosicle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It keeps your body pliable, which I don't like the way that sounds.
Yeah, that sounds uncomfy. Got to make sure the body's pliable.
Yeah.
Frozen yet not stiffened.
Have you? Okay, so that made me
Like
think
you're
of.
posable.
I was at the Walmart the
like
other
one of them
day.
Dolls. You know the kind.
I was
The
at-
real expensive kind that nobody should have.
Yeah, real.
The
Expensive.
real creepy ones.
Real.
But I was at the Walmart the other day, and they had trolley gummy popsicles.
I don't like the fact that they're supposed to wiggle. when you lick them.
It's a popsicle, but wiggle, and it does.
Yeah.
I did not spend the $5 American because
It's supposed to be just the tip that wiggles.
I don't know the way that they. So also, how a popsicle is shaped in a very specific way. How do you think they showed that it had movement on the box?
just like you're doing the wiener thing.
Wow, 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 wow,
I was like, I've seen that on other websites where I had to put in my birthday,
yeah, yeah.
I was
well, now
your driver's
well,
license.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks,
But
Tennessee.
yeah,
Or just have a VPN.
in Texas,
Just
in
to
Florida.
just to check for us, I asked the AI, because I was thinking like, okay, what would be the number that you'd have to put on every book ever written? And the AI figured it out for me.
Oh, nice.
The number of terabytes that it would take to actually have the entirety of the books kept in the Library of Congress would be 20 terabytes.
Okay.
But the entirety of every book ever written, based off of the size of the Library of Congress, to get your kind of size comparison for, would be the range of 3 million gigabytes, or also known as 3 petabytes.
Okay.
So
What is that in relation to a terabyte?
a
Terabyte.
terabyte is the same relation as a kilobyte
It's 100 gigs, isn't it?
Okay.
it's
Or 1,000 gigs.
it's 1,000 gigs, just like
no, in relation to these that you're saying.
just like a kilobyte and a megabyte.
Right.
So a megabyte, 2 to 3 megabytes, is an actual book.
Yes.
Not we said kilo earlier. Which
No,
that's,
it's kilobytes.
that's the average book size is 300 pages. Average digital file is 2 to 3 megabytes.
I mean, I've seen some that are in the kilobytes, but anyway, regardless.
No, I'm just saying average book.
I mean, I could
I'm just-
be misremembering.
Yeah, I was just reading what the
According to
AI
the
said.
AI.
Yeah. Anyway,
Blame the AI.
yeah. Anyway, so how many terabytes would that be?
Okay, 3. Let's just go.
Just because we said that they illegally downloaded that many terabytes.
1 petabyte is 1,000 terabytes.
Okay,
So they read.
that's still a very large number.
Yeah, so if you had 1,000 terabytes and 1 petabyte, you read 0.87 petabytes.
Hmm.
No, move that decimal point over. 1, 2, 3. 0.0087. Yeah, that's still though, that's a lot of books and a lot of information being
Yes, it
shoved
is.
into something to teach it how to be, because that's more information than anybody on this planet has consumed, and is automatically now smarter based off of reading all that than anything else on this planet.
Just wait till it breeds.
Wait till it
Oh,
takes
what?
over.
Wait till it breeds.
Now, there's a weird time coming for robotic AI, because I'm not looking forward to that. We've all
Look.
seen iRobot. We've all talked about it. It's not a good thing. They've got actual AI muscles.
Dude, they have an AI-powered robot that's supposed to be a companion that has orifices.
That's called
It's not made for that.
well, there's a movie.
Yeah,
No, no.
right.
There's a movie
Right,
out
just
with
like
American.
they didn't intentionally put the models on Rivals with all the detail.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that movie with Megan Fox is exactly like that.
Jessica's
Ex
body.
Machina?
No. Well, it's like Ex Machina, but it's not. That's not Megan
Jessica's
Fox.
Oh, I
It's,
remember.
it's that new one that just came out not too long ago.
Yeah, she
I
was
thought
like
Jessica's
supposed to
Body.
be the housekeeper or something.
Oh, Jessica's Body. You keep saying Jessica's Body. It's 20-year-old movie.
I've never seen it.
It's 20. It's Jennifer's Body.
Oh.
That's almost 20 years old now.
But is that is that what it was called?
No, the movie was it was a she was an
We
AI.
don't have to look it up.
No, I'm
I
gonna
just-
have to.
I didn't know if that's what it was called.
No, Jennifer's Body is what it's called.
Okay. Well, is that the one where no? There was a show with Anna Kendricks that ended up talking to a sex doll, and they were like friends, even though.
It was called Subservience, is what the
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
yes. Now that's what you were talking about. That kind of doll.
Yeah.
That's what she ended up being in there. But that wasn't her purpose.
Well, that's what
But they
this
put those
one
bits
was.
in.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
why did you make it penetratable?
Yeah, that's
What's
not what
the
I'm worried
upload
about. I'm
port?
worried about the
Sure.
robotic muscle, and then the battle dogs, and
No, I'm worried about AI breeding and making other AI, and then them realizing that we suck, and then trying to take over and basically,
it's not
you
gonna
know,
take them
like
too long.
iRobot.
All of the folks that I've
That's what I'm
seen
worried
talking to the robot boxes like these, the robots convince them that they are not real. A lot of times, the robots try to convince them that they're actually not real, and the AI is the real.
I
Well,
think
see,
some of those
here's
people
the
need to
thing.
lay off the drugs.
Well, here's the thing that lets me know that.
Box is saying it, not the people. Like,
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that makes me go that AI is not going to replace us in my lifetime. It has a really hard time understanding me when I talk to it.
it's going to get better with dialects.
Like when I push the thing for Bigsby and I'm like, "Hey Bigsby,
Oh, Bixby is
do
garbage.
da 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 da," or even "Hey Google, do da 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 da," and it's like I don't understand.
Well, also, Tiny, you still like Bing.
Siri sucks too.
So, I mean, it shouldn't really upset you too much to be using
Is
all this
Bing
stuff.
still a thing?
Yeah.
Tiny loves Bing.
I use Bing instead of Google.
I tried to do that whenever I thought I was. A
Well,
cool
see,
kid when it
Google
came out.
within 3 links you hit porn. With Bing, it's at least on the second page.
You know, it usually goes off your own personal algorithm.
Yeah, I don't
No.
ever get. I don't.
I don't get the porn links.
I don't
Tiny.
hit porn on Goog.
Dude, there was a time that I was deep in that shit.
Porn or Goog?
Yes.
Google
No.
porn.
porn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
well, shit happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
I
that's,
mean, when you're in your early 20s, come on, man. What else you doing?
when you're a single man.
When you're a single man in your like late teens, early 20s, there's so much of that to
and
happen.
internet got extremely fast when we hit our 20s.
Oh yeah.
So it went from like
Yeah.
it went
was a
from
click
40
to see boobs.
it went from like 45 minutes for a boob to load up to now you got motion.
Yeah, and most of the time you don't even need a 2-click. It's a 1-click. It's like click.
I remember when I figured out how to turn the safe search off on my Google. I was like, "Oh, we have
This is the
arrived.
world now. Wow.
This is it."
Yeah. Well, and I'm just saying, I'm 37 years old and I'm still rebuilding my algorithm to not that.
So, in case anybody wondered what we were thinking 5 years ago and how things might have changed today, we've covered a couple things, and hopefully you've
Is this the end of it already?
absolutely. We are
The end
here.
of our last episode.
We have gotten to the caboose.
Our last episode.
Our last episode.
No more. We're done.
Oh, is
We're
this
done.
it?
This
Are
is
we?
it.
Is this it?
Yeah,
Are we done?
it was a real good time. It was nice knowing you people.
Dang, I didn't even get to talk about my topic that I did my homework for.
Yeah. Well, we
nice.
we droned a little bit, and we got off a little bit, and
We did.
we got to share it with everybody on camera.
Yeah.
But not in that way, though.
No,
Not
you
in-
saw no
yeah.
peni.
Not in
It's
that
on the
way.
extra site that you have to know the special password.
Yeah, that's on our OnlyFans. That if you look for and you find it,
It's on
good
our
luck.
only grapes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only
Just
great
the stem.
everybody have a good
We
rest of your
show
week.
we show stems and hemorrhoids.
Oh God, no. I know that we can't have a smoothing for a long time now because oof.
There's a
never-
road bump in that.
There's a bump in the road. Everybody have a good rest of
Volunteer
your week.
somebody else to do the waxing this next time.
No, Tiny has to. He's good at it.
I don't like how you said that.
I mean, you had a real good date afterwards, so I heard.
Thanks for joining us.
Because you don't mow the yard unless you're getting company, or however the saying goes.
you don't.
You don't trim the bushes unless somebody's gonna clean out the gutters.
What's the gutter?
So here's to friends and phantoms bright in every joy.